So I want to go over some new terminology today about that describes several types of stress that we didn't discuss before. And then I want to review some guidelines and ideas that can be helpful in terms of preventing stress, reducing stress, and preventing burnout. So I want to start with the idea of burnout, which is accumulated type of stress that is common among workers in helping professions and civil society organizations. It accumulates over time and impacts our well-being and the outcomes of our work. People who struggle with burnout typically experience emotional exhaustion and disengagement from their work and clients, along with problems with physical and mental health. Specifically, burnout is defined as the state of physical, mental, and emotional exhaustion, which happens when we have been stressed for a long time. So it doesn't require one stressful event. And the important thing to understand is that we may not notice how we, if we don't deal with our stress on regular basis, there is no need for one major stressful event to happen. We just can get burnout because we accumulate the stressful reactions over time. Common symptoms of burnout include physical and emotional exhaustion, feeling overwhelmed, feeling physically unwell, and sense of professional ineffectiveness when we cannot continue to work productively. There are several factors that increase the chances of us developing burnout. They include vicarious trauma, compassion fatigue, as well as increased workload, role ambiguity, safety issues, time pressures, reduced resources, and lack of self-care. So two new terms that I want to describe are compassion fatigue and vicarious trauma. Compassion fatigue is also a type of a secondary stress that we experience when we hear a lot of stories of other people suffering or having problems. Because many of us work in nonprofit organizations, we tend to work with populations and individuals who experience difficult situations, struggles, and problems, and we often hear their stories. So over time, we can develop compassion fatigue, which can be manifested in us becoming angry, impatient, irritated, unable to empathize or be patient with people that we work with. So it happens because our capacity to witness other people's suffering and other people's problems is very limited. So we need to be aware of that. And another similar term is called vicarious trauma. It's also a secondary type of trauma which we can develop indirectly through hearing other people's stories and experiences of traumatic events. So we don't need to be directly exposed to trauma, but let's say if I hear one or multiple stories of people surviving violent attacks, I can start developing the same symptoms like these people. So I don't, I may not be directly exposed to violent attack or any other traumatic event, but I may develop the same kind of symptoms. So learning about the trauma of others can trigger profound shifts in how I perceive myself and how I can, start to perceive others. Like I can start feeling myself insecure and expecting to, being afraid that I might get attacked, or I may develop insomnia or nightmares or all kinds of other symptoms, because as a result of me hearing other people's stories about similar struggles and similar traumatic events. So again, hearing about these kind of stories can increase our level of stress and increase the chances of us getting burned out or even traumatized. And similarly, our high and unrealistic expectations can put additional pressure on ourselves and increase our stress. As you know, psychologists or just people working in different professions who work in civil society organizations, our work is focused on helping other people solve their problems. And often we assume a responsibility for resolving their problems, making them happy, making them healthy. But we can't take full responsibility for that, for making everybody, stress-free and, happy and solve their problem. Helper's role is not to fix other people, and we shouldn't take this responsibility for our clients' well-being. Our role should be, or we should remind ourselves that our role is to supply people with tools, resources, and services that help them look after themselves and discover their solutions to their problems or their difficulties. Similarly, we should learn to be self-compassionate and self-accepting our deficiencies or our sometimes, our limitations. Like, we often, of course, want as professionals to be able to work with everybody, every type of person, every type of problem, we strive to have answers to all their difficulties, all concerns, and all problems. We want to know all the techniques that might help them to overcome difficult situations, but that's impossible and unrealistic. Sometimes we don't know, or sometimes what we try doesn't lead to, successful solutions. And also sometimes we just get overwhelmed. We get to the point where we need to take a break and we can't offer more of our emotional or mental support. So we need to remind myself that these limitations are healthy and normal. And so we should accept these limitations and change our unrealistic high expectations of ourselves, that we should have all the answers and all solutions and save everybody. Importantly, I just want to mention one quote by Virginia Satir, who said that you give people a gift of being heard and validated, but you are not their fixer. Again, you are not responsible for the final solution of their problem. You support them along the way while they are searching for the solution. And another important change that is very useful in terms of reducing our stress and preventing burnout is if we can have supportive relationships at work with our colleagues or our supervisors, our managers, and have a regular meetings or peer support groups where we can discuss, share and discuss not the work, but our emotions and our struggles and challenges or our stressful experiences during the work day or during the week. So if we can, we should arrange these kinds of meetings with one coworker or with a group where we can do this regularly, either at the end of the day, every day, if we can, and if the work is very stressful, or at the end of or in the beginning of every week. But what's important about it is that there should be a place and time when I can share my frustrations and fears and challenges and other negative emotions or questions without being blamed or being attacked or being ashamed or judged negatively. So creation of this support dyads or support teams requires the understanding that people should be non-judgmental and supportive of each other, and give each other advice and validate each other's emotions without accusing each other for being unprofessional or stupid or bored or unmotivated or anything like that. Self-care and checking ourselves for early signs of stress and burnout is very essential for us. So, it's helpful to everybody to check on themselves at the end of the day or after any stressful event, to check how I feel, what kind of relaxation or other exercises I need to do to become calmer and feel better. But for us, people working in helping professions, it's a must. It's not an option, and we should remind ourselves and develop a habit of practicing these tools and habits on regular basis. As a metaphor, when people go to the forest or some nature, when they come back, they need to check themselves and their clothing for ticks or insects or dirt or any other bad things that may be stuck to them. And, they need to clean them before they come home or to their work or wherever, so that they don't carry those bad symptoms with them until those symptoms become worse. So same thing we need to do with our symptoms and our experiences. And we need to just take responsibility for that and remind ourselves that nurturing yourself is a necessity, not a luxury. So now I want to mention a few kind of obvious ways that we can take care of ourselves and ensure that we reduce the chance of getting sick because of our stress. So one item is healthy eating. Of course, as you know, healthy eating helps us gain more energy to cope with stressful events. And it helps us preserve our health and strengthen our immune system to prevent and fight our illnesses. So it's very important that we eat well during the stressful times. But as you know, when people are stressed out, or some of them may lose a sense of appetite, or they forget to eat at a regular schedule. And similarly, others may start overeating and consuming a lot of fast food, junk food, processed food that is high in fat and calories, but is low in nutritional value and is just bad for health, for our health. So it's important for us to be aware in advance and plan that if I experience a stressful situation, I need to schedule adequate times when I can eat healthy meals. And I need to follow that schedule so I don't forget to eat and I don't, eat less than I need to regularly. And also it's helpful to, of course, make our choices in terms of, focus on choosing healthy nutritional meals and even cook our own meals so that, we know what we're eating. It's also a good idea to have people with whom we can share our meals or with whom we can cook meals together so that we not only eat together, but also we have some support because, as you know, one additional pressure during the times when people are stressed out is they tend to become isolated and feel lonely. So, sharing meal times with others might help address that issue as well. Several unhealthy behaviors that are to be avoided are cigarettes and alcohol, consumption of lots of caffeine, sugar, and salt, and also self-medication. As you know, oftentimes when people are in stressful situations, they start feeling pains in various parts of their bodies, or they develop insomnia or sleep problems, or they just feel exhausted. So some of them start taking various medications to relieve those pains and help them. They take sleeping pills, painkillers, and all kinds of other medications to help themselves feel better. But many of those medications, when they are used without doctor's advice, they have many dangerous, side effects. So it's better not to use them and either consult, doctors or use other tools to make ourselves feel better. That, tools that are much healthier than alcohol or cigarettes or self-medication. So these healthier options, of course, include exercising and healthy sleep. And not all of us like to exercise or do that regularly, but we need to understand that it doesn't have to be long. We don't need to exercise for hours, or we don't need to go or necessarily go to the gym or buy equipment. For that, we need to understand that any short physical activity is better than no exercise at all. We also need to identify which activities energize us and help us have fun. So, if I don't know, walking is boring and playing football or dancing or, doing something else is more fun to you, do that, even for 10 or 20 minutes. And you can do that, like, for example, if you cook lunch or dinner in your kitchen, you can turn on your music and dance in your kitchen while you cook. So, again, you don't have to do that in a special place or a special time. You can do that while you do something else. And then you can find partners or trainers to, again, support you, to have somebody to do that with. And then, of course, sleep is a great stress reducer, and poor quality sleep is itself a stressor. So not sleeping well increases our, stress. So that needs to be dealt with. And one very important advice to achieve that is to turn off your phone and slow down at least 30 minutes or an hour before going to bed. So we can calm down and actually, stop thinking about news or bad information or, our work or anything like that. These are some activities that help us also manage stress and prevent burnout. I will not go into very details about them because we discussed them in the first session, and also many of you, when you were submitting your ideas, activities that help you to reduce stress and feel better, that meditations, relaxation techniques, breathing exercises, physical exercises, healthy eating, sleeping, massage, yoga, all those things help us, manage stress in healthy ways. And if we feel like that's not working well enough, we can also seek professional supervision or counseling and psychotherapy to get somebody to really guide us through the difficult times. But I do want to talk about some ideas that are specifically related to our work that can help us, again, reduce our stress and prevent or reduce the risk of burnout. The first idea is taking regular breaks during the workday, which is much better than waiting for a long vacation. So many of us don't take rest during the day, and we tell ourselves that, in January, I'll take a month off, or I'll take 2 weeks off, and I'll go to, I don't know, Turkey, or I'll go to summer house, or I'll go to the beach, and I'll rest there then. That's not useful, because before then, we can accumulate a lot of stress and develop various symptoms that we don't want to develop. So taking a very short breaks during the day, each day, is very important. So you can take 5, 10, or 30 minutes break every hour or every few hours to recover, to stretch, to again do something physical, to exercise, or to rest, or to just, take a cup of coffee or tea or something like that. You probably even know that some companies provide spaces for their workers where people can actually take a nap during the day for 30 minutes or for 1 hour. So if we as workers need to excuse ourselves and allow ourselves to take those breaks and not feel guilty about that. And similarly, if we are managers or directors of projects and organizations, we should allow and encourage that our workers take frequent breaks during the day when they need to, because that will preserve their well-being and their capacity to work more productively and stay healthier. Another idea is not to take our work home. So again, it's important if we get stressed out during the day enough. So it's very important to try as much as possible to create a barrier. The literature even called it create a barrier between work and home, so that at home you don't respond to work-related emails or text messages. You don't continue to work on your projects from home, and you actually, when you are at home, focus other activities that are related to your family or your, own free time, and leave your work at work. Then, like I said, limiting our exposure to media and Facebook is important, because if we, during the day, work with people who are struggling and sharing bad stories and bad news with us, and then when we come home and get on Facebook or open TV news and continue to listen bad news and struggles of other people, that adds our stress. It doesn't help us relax or recover. And then the other important idea is, already I mentioned previously about creating peer support groups at work, or developing supportive relationships with our supervisors or managers who can help us express our stress feelings and bad experiences, and validate and support us in difficult times. And then the last idea I want to mention here is, we should remind ourselves that, of course, we can be stressed out because of poor management at work, or difficult projects, or difficult clients, but blaming other people or situations is not helpful way to think. It's more helpful to remind ourselves that others may have contributed to my stress and my situation, but I can make choices that can improve my well-being. Another way is it basically reminding myself that I'm responsible for my own responses and for my own well-being, and I shouldn't be waiting for the situation at work to become better, or for other people solving their problems. I can do something today to take a break and take care of myself, so I don't get more tired, more exhausted, and more overwhelmed. And then the last idea that I want to mention that is helpful, actually, I want to say two couple more things. One is importance of social support, and if we can, again, during the stressful time or at our regular times, remember to surround ourselves with people who love and support us, with whom we feel comfortable and safe, and who understand us, and maybe with whom we can have fun, or share some positive times. That is important. And also being able to do something we enjoy. Not forgetting to practice some activities that makes us feel joy and fun and give us pleasure. And, that could be anything from playing games, spending times with pets, or visiting, nice new places, or engaging in, painting, drawing, dancing, watching movies, listening to music, doing something creative. Doesn't matter what that is, as long as it's healthy and it gives us pleasure and positive emotions. That's a very strong barrier to us getting burned out and getting unhealthy. So the last idea that I want to speak about is this practice of gratitude and positive attitude. Again, it's kind of a coincidence that Alona started this our session today with a meditation that was focused on gratitude. But this is really, when I am dealing with a stressful and problematic experience all day, or maybe all week, or maybe all month, I don't have positive experiences or I don't notice them. So shifting our focus to notice and appreciate anything that happens to me during the day, doesn't matter how small that is, but as long as it is something positive or something nice, it's important to acknowledge that, and notice our feeling of appreciation and gratitude to that. So it could be people who are nice to us during the day, or things and experiences that happened that were not stressful or were actually positive and successful. It could be maybe I enjoyed the lunch that I had today. The rest of the day was stressful, but I liked the soup that I ate, or I enjoyed my short conversation with somebody, or I enjoyed my walk after, during the evening, or I enjoyed taking a bath at home before going to bed. Anything that you can notice that is positive, and it's very important to either write it down, which is called daily gratitude journaling. So to write down every day, in the beginning of the day or at the end of the day, several things that you enjoyed or appreciate about this day. And similarly, it's as useful to discuss these positive things with people, because again, during the stressful time, we tend to discuss our problems and bad experiences with people. So, changing our feelings toward and experiences toward discussing positive things during the day is very useful tool. So again, we can start our day like today, a work meeting, or just in the family. We can wake up and, at breakfast, or before, again, at lunch or at dinner, we can invite everybody at the table to say what they are grateful for today. Or we can also discuss our hopes and wishes, like, things that didn't happen yet, but we look forward to them. I hope things will be better tomorrow, or I hope that, soon we will go on wonderful vacation, or I look forward to, my birthday or somebody's birthday, or something, which will again help us remind ourselves that things are not only bad and things are not only negative right now. So, we'll give you assignment, and in your handouts, we have various tools, various templates for keeping a gratitude journal, and, writing down things that you may be grateful for during the day or happy about. And practicing that all the time actually will teach us to remind ourselves, even during stressful days, that there must be something positive today that I should focus on. And there must be something that I can notice that wasn't that bad, that I can appreciate or be thankful for. So those are basically the major tools of self-care that I wanted to discuss, to share with you. And this, don't read this. These are just links, but we'll share with you. These are several apps that I found that seemed very useful to me. They include apps that contain meditations, relaxations, breathing exercises. These are basically anti-stress apps and reminders that you can put on your phone and use it whenever you want, at work or at home, to make your experience better during the day. So we'll give you these links later, and hopefully you will find some of them useful.